First of all, thank you for coming. The leadership of the General Assembly has convened this press conference. Many have asked what will be the focus of the New Jersey General Assembly as we move towards the end of the year. And many of you know for the past several weeks we've been focused on the outcome of a horrific hurricane that hit our state, the devastation that existed, and the task ahead to rebuild New Jersey. But as we conducted our tour last week, and you know that we are going to be visiting other parts of the state, one thing has remained constant for us in New Jersey, and that is that our unemployment rate continues to hover at 10%. The challenges that we have ahead, we know that it is going to take funding to do much of the rebuilding in this state over the next several years. And nothing is going to get us there more quickly than if we get more New Jerseyans back to work. And we know that everyone wants to dive in head first, roll up sleeves, and start rebuilding. But a step that has to happen before that is the legislature and the administration focusing back attention on getting New Jerseyans back to work. We need a multifaceted approach to move New Jersey economically forward. We need to give businesses tools to grow. We need to provide training for fields with the greatest workforce challenges in the state. We need to invest in up-and-coming job sectors, and we need to provide assistance to those who are struggling to get ahead in this economy: women, minorities, veterans, and those fighting to earn a livable wage. Now, you know that yesterday the Assembly voted and moved the minimum wage bill to the governor's desk. And ironically, yesterday, CNN Money produced a report that indicated that in the third quarter, the gross domestic product is the highest that it has been, and there are record corporate profits that have been earned. But concomitantly, wages of people in this country are going down during a period when corporate profits are up. Subsequently, we did an examination of the investment we have made in businesses over the past several years in this legislature. And this legislature has promulgated 22 pieces of legislation that were supportive investments and incentives for business growth and expansion. And we're not going to deter from that. Subsequently, you know that about a year ago, we created in the General Assembly a Back to Work New Jersey package of bills that were designed to stimulate investment in the economy, to work with the private sector to expand and grow the opportunities for the creations of jobs. The governor rejected many of the bills that were in that package. We think that now that we have evolved into an environment of bipartisan cooperation based on the devastation that has happened in this state, we are today throwing out a hand of bipartisan participation and cooperation to the administration to sit down with the General Assembly and let us revisit many of those bills that we know will lead to growing and expanding and creating jobs immediately in this state. And I'm going to ask Majority Leader Lou Greenwald to provide you with a little more detail in terms of our intent.
Thank you, Speaker. The Speaker and I, along with our leadership team, believe that the devastation of Sandy, while real and immediate, will help, through this tragedy, actually stimulate the economy. The reality is, though, that the Sandy cleanup will be temporary relief, and it ignores the fact that going into this tragedy, New Jersey was already facing one of the worst economies in the country. The numbers that the Speaker talked about from the CNN report very interesting. In the third quarter, corporate earnings were $1.75 trillion, up 18.6% from a year ago, according to last week's gross domestic product report. That took that look after tax profits to their greatest percentage of GDP in history. Unfortunately, the record profits come at the same time that workers' wages have fallen to their lowest ever share of GDP. And New Jersey is a mirror of that report. So now we are 3 years into the administration of Governor Christie, and the economic results so far are troubling. Governor Christie talks a game about the fundamentals of economy, but the reality is that the outcomes are atrocious. No amount of press conferences or talking points is going to obscure the fact that in the last 3 years, New Jersey's economy continues to get worse. It is getting more and more difficult to afford to live in New Jersey. Jobs, property taxes, and the state's debt service all have gone in the wrong direction since the governor set foot into Trenton. New Jersey's unemployment rate continues to hover near 10%, nearly 2 full percentage points higher than the national average. We continue to rank 47th in the nation in unemployment rate, with an unemployment significantly higher in New Jersey than it is in any of our neighboring states. Here's the bottom line. New Jersey is not adding enough good-paying middle-class jobs to create the kind of economic recovery that this state desperately needs. Notably, we have gained approximately 35% of the jobs our state lost since the recession. While we have added approximately 41,000 jobs in the private sector in the past year, the data provides cause for concern, as for the most part, these jobs are not the kind of high-paying middle-class jobs that the residents in the state of New Jersey need. Right now, one of our highest job growth sectors is leisure and hospitality. We've added jobs that mostly fall within the restaurant and bar sector industry. These are not high-paying jobs, as the U.S. Department of Labor estimates. This is an industry sector with the lowest average wages and the lowest proportion of its workforce earning minimum or sub-minimum wage jobs. Other critical sectors tell a similar story. The data suggests the trade, transportation, and utility sectors added 4,500 net jobs last year, and we saw essentially half of those jobs that were added to low-wage jobs as well. While we have seen the professional and businesses added a decent amount of good-paying professional, scientific, and technical service, many of the jobs created in that sector up to this point in this administration support waste management and administrative support. That is secretarial and janitorial jobs. The package of bills that the Speaker and I have endorsed through our leadership team with the members of our legislature are designed to grow the economy in an area that will grow higher paying jobs, build upon the success of bipartisan efforts we have already done. So for instance, there are jobs here to grow in the research and development fields. There are job incentive packages here, legislation to grow around health care. These are the backbone of New Jersey's opportunity. So at the end of June, as we closed out the budget cycle, we worked very hard in a bipartisan effort to restructure higher education around the healthcare communities, medical schools, science, and research. We want to build off of that success because we look at New Jersey, where healthcare is the second largest employer, to build off of that progress in a bipartisan fashion to grow jobs in that area that are good paying, middle to upper middle class jobs that will help grow our economy and build revenue for the state of New Jersey. We have a package of bills that we will hand out to you afterwards. We'd be happy to answer questions about those after the press conference even. We will be holding a hearing next week chaired by our budget chairman, Vincent Prieto, that will start to outline these bills, take testimony on them. There is not a bill in this package that should not receive bipartisan support, and there is not a bill in this package that the governor should not sign. Some of these bills, yes, are bills that he has seen on his desk before and has not endorsed. The reality is that we have a track record now 3 years later that his failure to sign these bills have not resulted in a growth of our economy. He has missed an opportunity. The good news is we can always come back for a second bite at the apple, and it is never too late to get started in a bipartisan fashion to drive our economy forward. The reality is the facts that we shared with you today, it's not intended to be attacked, they are just a reality. And it is a reality that New Jersey continues to slip further behind. This is an opportunity for New Jersey to move forward, to also not just rest solely on the economic recovery from the Sandy tragedy, but to recognize where we stood before that horrific event and build off of that. And now at this point, I'd like to introduce our Budget Chairman, Vincent Prieto.
Thank you, Majority Leader. Thank you, Speaker. As we went around last week to some of the most devastated area and saw the aftermath of Sandy, we all can agree there's a lot of rebuilding that needs to go on. But that also has to be coupled together with job creation, because before Sandy came along, we actually were in a crisis, an economical crisis, and unemployment record highs. So that has not gone away. That was what was the main topic on everybody's mind at that point in time. So we need to work together in a bipartisan way to make sure that we create our economy, grow it, and obviously you guys are going to talk and ask, what is this going to cost? We have identified a minimal investment of about $20 million. And that, in a sense, by the time it takes effect, it will bring back the investment New Jersey has made in to make sure our economy grows, and it will be sort of a trickle-up effect, because these individuals that will be getting these jobs can then put that money back into the economy. They buy goods, they spend money, they can buy food for their children, good education. We need to make sure we start working today on this. That's why, as the majority leader said, we're going to hold a hearing next week, a week from today, on the 11th, and we look to moving these bills out of the committee and then bringing it up on the 17th for a floor vote to get it to the governor as soon as possible, because we need to act. We have to be proactive. We can't be reactive. So we need to take the initiative and grow our economy, and that's the way we can get out of this, doing it together as the time we rebuilt with Sandy.